Welcome to footballgameplan.com. This is the 2009 San Diego Chargers team preview. I'm alongside the czar, the playbook, Emery Hunt. I'm Tyler Merkovich. And the Chargers made the playoffs last year. They got in. Phillip Rivers' career year. LT, not the year everyone was expecting. Darren Sproles breaks out. They franchise Sproles. They retain him. Question marks on offense, though. Along the offensive line, is it as good as advertised? A down year last year. They lost Lorenzo Neal. That might have been somewhat of the case. But Marcus McNeil, Nick Hardwick, what's your analysis on the offense and the offensive line?
You're absolutely right. That offensive line last year had a mediocre season. So I'm looking for them to improve. You have to love Phillip Rivers. He's one of the top 5 quarterbacks in the game. His toughness alone is unquestionable. I love the way he plays the game. Passionate, can make all the throws despite the unorthodox delivery, but it gets there and it gets there in a hurry. I love his passion for the game. LT, you want to ask yourself, was his production a result of the bad offensive line play or him getting older? But I still think even in a down year, he rushed for 1,000 yards. That's pretty good for a down year. So I think he's going to be okay this year. Sproles is back. I love Sproles. Loved him at Kansas State. When you have speed, if you're good enough, you're big enough. And Sproles is definitely good enough to take this the next step and look to replace Tomlinson probably down the line, because they bought him back for a contract extension. So I think once Tomlinson decides to hang it up, Sproles is already there in the waiting.
He's a game changer because he could change the position of the field on punt returns and kick returns, and he goes also take a screen pass 50, 60 yards. It's hard to find that small guy. He's very fast. And, of course, they got the weapons on the outside. Vincent Jackson kind of breaking out, still expecting a little better numbers. Of course, they have Antonio Gates, who struggles with injuries sometimes. But these weapons at Rivers' disposal, they could throw the ball all over the field. Chris Chambers, not to mention, Malcolm Floyd, and a bunch of other guys.
One thing I liked about their receivers is the fact that it took me a while to grow to like Vincent Jackson. When I first saw Vincent Jackson play, I was like, wow, it's a big guy, physical guy, but he dropped a lot of easy passes, and I was like, ah. So last year he improved, and I like that. It shows that he takes it seriously and he works to get better. So he improved last year. Gates, top 5 tight end in the league, if not the best tight end in the league. So I like Antonio Gates. I like his game. Chris Chambers, when he was in Miami, all you saw every week was Chris Chambers making a spectacular play. We need him to make more big plays like that in San Diego, but I think he has the capability to do. Buster Davis, it's kind of been a disappointment, and I actually like Buster Davis coming out of LSU, but hopefully he can be that third guy to come in and make that offense that much more explosive. But I do also like Vincent Jackson growing into his position. I think this year would be a true breakout year for Vincent Jackson. It always helps as a quarterback that's 6'5", to look down the field and see somebody that's looking you eye to eye down the field. I like Vincent Jackson. The offensive line is going to do better this year, so I think they're going to hold up. I like the Chargers offense.
Let's move over to the defensive side of the ball, and they lost their key cog in that 3-4 defense, and that's Sean Merriman. Tried to battle back, but he said, let me sit out, let me get healthy. And first round, they went after a kid named Larry English out of Northern Illinois, who is one of those hybrid ends who is going to play. He's going to be a backup because, you know, they got a bunch of linebackers as it is, especially as when they're healthy. But English, a key contributor. Tell me about their defense.
When you look at English and what he did at Northern Illinois, he was one of the mainstays on that Husky defense and was the reason why the Huskies were mentioned to be a top 15 team. Sack master. I love the way he gets after the quarterback. Now you have Merriman back in the fold. He's looking at the rebound. He's aggressive. Sean Phillips, aggressive. So I love the linebackers. Defensive line, Luis Castillo, Jersey product. You look at Big Williams in the middle, big guy that could take up a lot of space. So I like the fact that they have those. Now they lose Igor Olshansky off that defensive line, but I think they'll be fine with the replacements they made. Also in the secondary, you have a guy back there in Cromartie that can catch picks. He's a ball hawk. On the other side, they drafted a guy last year, Antonio Cason, that's real awesome from Arizona. He can get out there and get after the ball too. Eric Weddle is a guy that I like. He's a ball hawk. I call him like, I want to take the name from London Fletcher and call him .com because he's always there. He's short guy for a safety, but is there to make the play and the hit at the right time, and he gets his hands on the football a lot.
We mentioned Darren Sproles in the return game, but they also have a pretty consistent kicker in Nate Kading. And what do you think of their special teams?
Kading is a guy that he's a kicker's dream. He enjoys beautiful weather, nonstop in San Diego. The second closest thing will be playing in the Dome. So Kading is going to be fine. And you saw in certain games last year, Sproles he's missed the field position. He can change the game on an instant with his speed and quickness and the ability to make people miss. On punt return, all you have to do is make one person miss, and you're off to the races because everyone's running full speed one way. And it's all reactionary. So I like Sproles in the punt return game. Kick return game, Sproles again with speed to hit a lane and get down the field in a hurry. So the kickoff and punt return games are awesome. They're set. The Chargers are looking real good right now.
With the transitions in the AFC West, Tom Cable, his first full year. Of course, Josh McDaniels and Todd Haley, their first full years in Kansas City and Denver. It's pretty much impossible for San Diego not to win the division, right?
Exactly. And the one thing that I live by, the words consistency is the key. And they have the most consistent coaching staff, the most consistent set of players on that team. So I like the fact that the Chargers keep the same nucleus together. So I think the Chargers are going to finish first in the AFC West and with no problem. So between 11 victories to 13 victories, I think the Chargers are looking to make a run deep into the playoffs this year.
And if they don't, Norv Turner head might be on a swivel because a lot of pressure is on this guy because they're expected to really be good this year. That's the San Diego Chargers. That's Emery Hunt. I'm Tyler Merkovich. For more NFL team previews, visit footballgameplan.com/NFL.